In Munich today, Americans are trying to put an end to speculation about the end of the transatlantic era. The message from Washington is clear. The United States is not withdrawing from Europe, but expects stronger partners and shared responsibility for security.
So in a time of headlines heralding the end of the transatlantic era, let it be known and clear to all that this is neither our goal nor our wish. Because for us Americans, our home may be in the Western Hemisphere.
Washington is saying clearly today that it needs allies capable of defending themselves so that no enemy will try to test the collective strength of the West.
We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it.
In the conference room, this message was received as a sign of stability and continued partnership. Suffice it to say that the American secretary received a standing ovation after his speech.
I'm not sure you heard the sigh of relief through this hall when we were just listening to what I would interpret as a message of reassurance.
At the same time, U.S. policy remains tough on Russia and the war in Ukraine. Washington declares that it will test the Kremlin's real intentions regarding the end of the conflict.
We don't know. We don't know if the Russians are serious about ending the war. They say they are, and under what terms they were willing to do it, and whether we can find terms that are acceptable to Ukraine upon that Russia will always agree to. But we're going to continue to test it.
At the same time, Europe is strengthening its own military capabilities, and NATO allies are announcing a show of force in key security regions.
I can announce today that the UK will deploy our carrier strike group to the North Atlantic and the High North this year, led by HMS Prince of Wales, operating alongside the US, Canada, and other NATO allies, in a powerful show of our commitment to Euro-Atlantic security.
However, the new security architecture encompasses much more than just Europe. Indo-Pacific countries emphasize that the security of the regions is now inextricably linked.
The crucial point here is that the security of the Indo-Pacific and the Euro-Atlantic is indivisible. Attempts to unilaterally change the status quo by force must never be tolerated. That is why Japan does not view Ukraine as a distant European.
The situation in the Middle East and Iran, where opponents of the regime speak of the historical weakness of the authorities in Tehran, also remains in the background of the conference.
The Iranian people are in full revolt, and the regime is at the weakest it's ever been. It's on the verge of collapse. It's a matter of time before this regime goes. My point, however, is that the world needs to understand, including the U.S. administration, that whether or not the Western world intervenes, our fight will continue and the regime will collapse anyway. The only question is at what price do the Iranian people can regain their freedom.
Munich shows a map of global tensions, from Ukraine through the Arctic and the Atlantic to the Indo-Pacific and the Middle East. The U.S. strategy remains global, and alliances are to be stronger, more independent, and ready to deter in multiple regions simultaneously.